A team probing whether ANC members helped form rival political parties has 60 days to provide its findings. The inquiry stems from reports that ANC Secretary General Magashule played a role in forming the African Transformation Movement. Now, according to the terms of reference of the investigation, no legal representations will be allowed. The team will be led by former President Kgalema Motlanthe. For more on this, though, I'm joined by ANC National Spokesperson Pule Mabepule. Thanks a lot for joining us on Newsnight this evening. Now, when it comes to the issue of Secretary General Magashule, reports are saying that this is no matter that is new. In fact, the NEC had approved, and as well as he had approved, that actually such an investigation to be carried out in the hope to clear his name. Is that true?
Evening and evening to your viewers. We received a report at our last Special National Executive Committee meeting. I think it was the 31st of May. Which report was coming out of the elections report on what would have been the impact of smaller political parties. And the NEC, that special NEC, directed the NWC to look at the possibility of setting up an ad hoc committee which will be able to ascertain whether there is any validity to all of these accusations. And of course, that scope was to be broad. Not just, it didn't point to specific individuals. It said, let's look at whether NEC members or broadly members of the ANC would have been involved in the work of forming these smaller political parties, which might have had a negative bearing. I mean, there's about 500,000 votes or so which went to this smaller political parties. So now a self-respecting organization like the African National Congress has got to always do work to assess and analyze whether some of these developments are driven well within its own structures or it's things that are happening out there, but also understand what could be the bearing of such development to its own work. And to this end, we then said that we'll put up an ad hoc committee led by ANC stalwarts who are independent in the sense that they don't sit in any one of the ANC structures. If you take a person like Kgalema Motlanthe, is the former Secretary General of the ANC, is the former Deputy President. He's a person of good repute himself. If you look at Dr. Freni Jinyuala, she previously served in the Integrity Commission of the ANC, which is a body that must uphold our own values as an organization. Also, they are being assisted by an Advocate Mohano there to try and make sure that in how they execute their work, they attend to all the details that are before them. But also the SGO, which is comprised of the Secretary General and the Deputy Secretary General, will be given the necessary secretarial support. Our hope is that they will be able to finish their work well within 60 days. If there are things, whether of extensions or they tend to conclude their mandate much earlier, would be kept abreast and will be able to convey and communicate what are the outcomes there.
Well, Pule, I'm sure that you'd appreciate that you're speaking about a self-respecting party, but a self-respecting party does not have self-respecting members who are forming political parties, smaller political parties, in the hope to weaken the base of the African National Congress. I think it even goes against the values of the very same ANC that you're speaking of. So, which is why I'm going to my question of, when you have such individuals, whether it's an SG, which is on the high echelons of leadership, who are accused, who are alleged to have been part of forming, for example, the African Transformation Movement, that says something about the self-respecting members within the self-respecting party. In other words, how much self-respect do those very same members actually have for the very same political party? Well,
let me clarify this. Actually, it is yourselves in the media who were raising the name of the SG. When this discussion happened in the ANC, NEC, never was the name of any specific leader mentioned. It was a report of elections that said that let's look into this thing. So we are attending to it. So unfortunately, a new narrative was created by the media. We never sat in the NEC and said that let's go and investigate the Secretary General. No. We said that let us set up an ad hoc committee to ascertain whether there is any veracity or validity to the accusations that are being made. And I think that to be fair to the SG, we shouldn't actually be drawing the name of the SG as though there was a discussion in the NEC that pointed to the Secretary General. Those who are leaking information, whether they are inside the NEC or not, must understand that it's a heavy price that they are costing the movement. One, they are fueling divisions. Two, they are communicating a very confusing message out to the public. Now, we can't meet issues outside the NEC which were not discussed in the meeting. It is very unfair. We sit in the National Working Committee of the ANC. We discuss issues honestly and fairly. Before you know it,
the media knows about it?
Before you know it, even before you could even get home, already journalists are filing questions. So we need to call our cadres into order. You know, the first discipline that all of us must do is to make sure that we respect ourselves. I mean, if you are a leader of the ANC and you report to journalists, how do you expect them to respect you? Because
why I'm asking about the self-respect
correct,
of the ANC.
Correct, because there is an imaginary view created by those forces of doom who are working hard to undermine our own unity, who come and feed some of this negative narrative to yourself on things that we've never even discussed. Look at eNCA today. A story was running that there's an investigation about the SG of the ANC when we have not even said that ourselves.
But who are those people that are propagating those fires?
Well,
you know who it is members within the very same party. And you're right. Those members need to be called to order because it's not fair.
Correct. That's why what we did. Yeah. What we did is that we immediately issued a statement today. Not only did we do that, we also gave you terms of reference because we're a very transparent organization. We have got the capability and ability to talk about our own positions. Sure. That's why we are here, to restate our position. So we are self-respecting, and so is the Secretary General of the African National Congress.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to the outcome, spokesperson, of how this is going to happen. Unfortunately, you and I can talk for ages. I am told that I have to let go of our conversation for this evening. But thanks a lot for joining me, clarifying some matters. But again, it goes back to the issues around self-respecting ANC members who do not take conversations that are happening within the ANC outside to the very same journalists, like myself, who have to report on
and end up giving it their own meaning outside what will have been discussed in the meeting. But thanks again that this platforms do exist for us to be able to restate our positions as the organization.